Hello, everybody. This is O Sullivan, and I am your eyebrow microblading specialist from Clonakilty in West Cork. This is a video that I've had to put together very quickly because Leo Varadkar lifted the lockdown measures, of which I was initially August 10, brought it forward to July 20, and then last Friday brought it forward by a big jump to July 29. And that left me with only 6 days to get these videos up. Therefore, I only had 6 days. I have everything feverishly done in the background for our standard operating procedures and COVID-related safety. And one of the recommendations was that the client needed to be in our clinic at a reduced time. So part of the new standard operating procedures is to get what I am going to offer you, what you are expected to do, and I'm putting it together in a video form so that you can see it and have all your list of questions ready for when you come to me, or you can forward them to me in advance, or we can arrange a Zoom in advance so that we minimize the amount of exposure that we have together when you come to me. And that is part of the health and safety recommendations. Part and parcel of your visit to me includes a half-hour consultation, telling you what the treatment is about, going through your consent form, and to do a proper consultation to make sure that you are a suitable candidate, you know what you're buying into, and that there is no room for error in relation to what is being expected. So, and how we can deliver it to you. So that part of the consultation is now being delivered to you via this link here now on YouTube, and I will be very, very insistent that you have seen this in advance so that you know what you are signing up to and that there's no room for any grey areas. So what I'm going to do first is go through what the consultation is all about, and then we'll talk about the COVID-related safety issues so that we can make sure that your transition with us is going to be as smooth as is possible. So when you arrive to us, you will have your consent form, which we'll email out to you, and you can print it off and have it signed, already signed and ready to rock and roll as soon as you arrive into my clinic. If it so happens that you don't have a printer, let us know and we'll post it out to you in advance. Every single person who comes to our clinic has to have a patch test. It is non-negotiable. And with the new health and safety measures, you can't just drop by anymore to have your patch test. So just reach out to us and we will actually post it out to you with full instructions as to how to do the patch test. It's quite simple, and I've done one on our YouTube videos here before. But there's no room for error. It's a very easy thing to do. All you have to do is follow the instructions in the leaflet that we have given you, which is inside in your patch test. Okay, this is a microblade. As you can see, I'll just put it up here. Oh, has it focused? Not really. It is 15 needles lined up in a row. Obviously, this is for demonstration purposes only, but I use 2 of these for every client. This is the small detailer one, and I have the big one, which is the one for the longer hair strokes. Obviously this is disposable and one use only. So I have made sure that they come in this blister pack here, that they are safely disposed of after every client, and the disposal unit is actually visible in my clinic. Now, if I had a proper videographer, I would be able to do this with great ease, but I don't, and I can't get one. And as I say, I only have 6 days to go. So this will be the best thing. And look, it'll be fine. It'll do until we can come up with a little bit more professional. But you know, it's fine for now. And let's get the show on the road. Okay, so here we have, this is latex. It's the closest thing that we actually have to skin. And it's to visualize it. I'll just put it up here to you here so that you can see what the hair strokes look like in on latex. Obviously this is not human skin, but it's very shiny, and it's actually very, very close to what Chinese and Asian skin looks like. It has that sort of smooth feel, and the hair strokes, let's just see if I can see which is the best one here. Probably this one here. Okay, so that you can see how the hair strokes are implanted under the skin. Now this, as I say, is the closest thing to human skin, but it's maybe the closest thing to human skin, but in Asian form. Here I have what Caucasian skin looks like. It's more like flow. This is flow. And even though the hair strokes are actually done in the exact same way, they actually tend to sort of spread a little bit more. Either way, you may not get the same crispness of hair strokes that you see in other skins, but for Caucasian skin, the hair strokes are just a little bit more spread out. But all that means for you is that I have to place these strokes a little bit further apart so that we can actually get that lovely hair stroke look. Either way, you're still going to get a lovely brow. So if the shape is right, everything will work out fine. And we painstakingly take ages with the shape so that the shape is going to be bespoke for you. Okay, so your brow shape. There is such a thing as facial morphology. Yes, there is. I've studied it, and it is a whole module in relation to our eyebrow shape courses. So you are going to fall into one of 6 categories. So you're going to, and I will assess you as soon as you walk through the door. It'll be one of the things that I will assess you. So your eyebrow shape will fall into the category of one of those 6 face shapes. Extra to that, I will actually be using a sticky ruler, which I'll stick onto your face here, socially distanced, of course. And that will give me some markings in relation to your eyebrow, where your eyebrow should start, the arch, and where it should finish. Then there is this disposable ruler that we use also for further measurements. Every single person, I use one of these. It is a disposable gauge that I use for measuring tools. This is like another one. And then finally, we have this guy here, which is very much part and parcel of the 1.618 measurement, which is a Roman numeral, and it's actually used to determine where your eyebrow should start, where it should arch, and where it should end. And the tail of your eyebrow is never lower than the lower aspect of the head of your brow. As you know, I'm a registered nurse, therefore I know exactly where the eyebrow is supposed to be placed, and it's just above the orbital bone, which is just in here in your eye socket. Some people are born with eyebrows that are just too low, and even though they're the happiest people in the world, they actually look sad because they're born with this, that the eyebrow has been placed too low. So I will painstakingly take about 20 minutes to draw out your potential brow, and then you will be given a mirror so that you can approve it. Nothing happens until you're 100% happy with the brow shape. Nothing. You can make any changes you want. Once I have done what the facial morphology recommends for you, you are then given it to approve. And once you've approved it, well, then we are ready to rock and roll. So if you want to make changes, you can make your changes. I will remeasure you, and then we will actually make sure that you're within the parameters of your facial morphology. And if you are, well, then we're good to go. Okay, let's talk about Eyebrow Colors. This is one of the brands that I use, which is Tina Davies. I use 4 brands in Brow Tea Cork. I use 2 that are water-based, and I use 2 that are glycerin-based. And they're all ISO approved. I've done training with all of them. In fact, I'm trialing a 5th brand right now. This is probably one of my favorites. It's Tina Davies. It's a Canadian Chinese lady who has developed her own brand with world famous called Permablend. And these are the ones that I use the most. However, I will determine what your skin is like, and it will actually help me determine which brand I use and which colours I use. What I love about Tina's is that she actually has examples of what your hair and skin look like in various ages on the top, the recommendations in the middle, and down at the bottom here, I don't know if you can see it very well, let's see. The colours that are chosen, you will see at the top of the block. That is the colour that's chosen, and it shows how it fades out over the year, which is usually a lesser version of its original colour. Having said that, the colour that I will use and the brand that I will use will very much determine your skin, your history, and how I would like to be able to get as much longevity out of your eyebrow colour as is possible. There is no point in us using a water-based if you're better suited to a glycerin-based. I have been doing microblading exclusively for coming up on 8 years now, 6 days a week, and I do 2 master trainings twice a year in order to constantly keep up to date about the wonderful new brands that are coming on the market and how they can be adapted for Caucasian skin. The pigments in the early days were very much adapted for Asian skin, and they have a yellow base to their skin tone, whereas we obviously have a blue base to our skin tone, and the microblading pigments are improving all of the time. Hence why I'm carrying 4 brands right now, trialing a 5th, and I will be trialing 2 more actually as time goes on. As you can see, there are 7 colours here alone, and with those 7 colours, I actually still have the ability to be able to mix and match all of those 7 colours to get them as close to your original colour, your hair colour. Take into consideration your hair colour, your eyebrow colour, and your eyelash colour. It's very important that we use the right colour. Here in Ireland, I like to take a conservative approach when it comes to colour. There is no point in me going for a colour that is too dark, whereby you're ringing me 3 days later or 10 days later saying, oh my God, Olive, it's too dark for me. I can't take it away then. So what I do is that I always start for a lighter colour than the one that's recommended for step 1. And then we can add to it at step 2. So we can either use the same colour if you're happy with it, or we can go darker at step 2. And we can actually, look, we've got 7 different shades to actually choose from to actually add extra, so that the end result is where we have got you, where we want you to go to. So like that, I will always take a conservative approach when it comes to colour. I would far prefer that you come back at step 2 and say to me, Olive, it's too light, and then, you know, we can add to it. If you came back to me at step 2 and say it's too dark, I can't do anything about it. So it's been a technique that we've used here for the last 8 years, and it has worked so well. So you're going to have to trust me on this one. Okay, now I want to address the pain and soreness of a eyebrow microblading tattoo. So this is not a spa treatment, but it is also not horrendously painful. It is more like a scratch. As a registered nurse, I can use a triple anesthetic. I have a cream, I have a gel, and I have a liquid. Now, most people actually would rate it a 3 out of 10. So childbirth would be a 10 out of 10. 3 out of 10 is very handleable. In fact, threading your eyebrows is far sorer than having your eyebrows microbladed. And bear in mind, for the time that you're with me, the actual microblading treatment literally only takes 20 to 25 minutes. Very handleable. Okay, I suppose we'll talk about infection control. This was always in place as a registered nurse. It was very much part and parcel of my training. Bloodborne pathogens, infection control, cross-contamination. This was a whole module set down by my nursing training. And it was very much approved by the Irish Medical and Nurses Board and the Midwifery Board as well. So extra to this, during the whole COVID lockdown, I have done 4 extra trainings which have been COVID specific. They've been certified and they will be available for you to inspect when you arrive to your clinic, to our clinic, to us. I'm hopeful that I'll have them framed and up on the wall by the time you get to come to me, but if not, they will be available for inspection. Now, I have a YouTube video made out on the draw of the eyebrow. That is, you can view it on my, if you're a YouTuber, you can actually have a look at it on my Brow Tea Cork page. But just to show you that the draw that I do for your eyebrows is actually going to be like that. It's going to be thicker than you might want, but I want you to know that this is the lower border and this is the upper border. But it's within those lines that I will actually be creating the eyebrows. So you might think that I'm gone too thick, and it could look like as if it has gone too thick in the first couple of days, but it will be very dark and thicker for about 2 days afterwards. But bear in mind, it's inside those lines that I've actually created the hair strokes there. You can have a look there. But when they're fully healed, this is what it will look like. So this looks like nothing like this. So therefore, by the time any swelling has gone down, this is what's underneath and not this. So, but when you leave my clinic on the day that your eyebrows is being done, this is what they will look like, because they will be, they still need to heal and they still need to fade a bit, and any swelling that has occurred at the time of the treatment, which will be about 10%, will be there at that time, and it'll take about 24 hours for that swelling to go down. It's the same thing, only in a different kind of shape of eyebrow. This is more of an angled eyebrow. This would be the draw. This would be the work that would actually be done. It's within the lines that we would have drawn. And this would be the end result, which would look nothing like this at all, because it will be after fading. And then when you come back for your step 2, then we can actually go darker and thicker if you want to. That's the best approach, in my opinion. And it's the one that's worked really, really well for the last 8 years. Okay, then we do a final measurement before we actually get cracking, so that you know that the distance between your two eyes here is the exact same distance between the start and the arch of the brow. There is a whole science behind it. You got to believe me on this one. It's been a whole module in my training. And as I say, this is why the whole shaping of the eyebrow takes a good 20 minutes doing the draw, because we've got to take so much into consideration and nothing is left to chance. There'll be an awful lot of measuring before we actually show you the proposed eyebrow. And it will suit you, because it will be bespoke for you. Okay, then we do a final measurement before we actually get cracking, so that you know that the distance between your two eyes here is the exact same distance between the start and the arch of the brow. There is a whole science behind it. You got to believe me on this one. It's been a whole module in my training. And as I say, this is why the whole shaping of the eyebrow takes a good 20 minutes doing the draw, because we've got to take so much into consideration and nothing is left to chance. There'll be an awful lot of measuring before we actually show you the proposed eyebrow. And it will suit you, because it will be bespoke for you. Okay, this is a representation as to what the work's going to look like. Okay, so clearly this is not Caucasian skin. This is more Middle Eastern skin. But it gives you an idea as to what the work's all about. So this here is the draw, and this here is the hair strokes. Can you see them there? Now, we are not Middle Eastern. We are Caucasian skin. So it doesn't look as clear as that, but it's a very good representation, and it's very close to it. So what's not to love about that? Right. Healing. This is something that I use this visual for all my clients when they come to me. This here is a eyebrow that is just freshly done on a blonde haired, blue eyed girl. Very light color that's actually done. And this is what she could possibly look like on day 1. This is the day that it's done. This is how she looks like on day 5. I will get you, if you follow the aftercare that I recommend for you, I'm trying to look out over this. If you follow the aftercare that I recommend for you, I will get you from here to here in 24 hours. So I'm very bossy when it actually comes to you doing your aftercare, and there will be no question about any mistakes in aftercare. If you don't follow the aftercare as I ask you, you will go from here to here in day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and eventually day 5 here. I will get you from here to here in 24 hours if you follow the aftercare as I ask you. Just do what I say. Okay, finally, I always show all of my clients a copy of my insurance. And the reason I do this is I'm covered up to 6.5 million. The reason I do this is that oftentimes people would wonder why my fees are as they are and why other people can charge less. Oftentimes the reason they charge less is that they either have little or no insurance, they don't have very much experience, or they're using crappy quality pigments. My insurance covers you me and you up to 6.5 million. That is to protect you, but it's also to protect me. And the premium is paid in February of every year. So we're paid up to February of next year. It is the most expensive part of my business expenses. Okay, finally, I always show all of my clients a copy of my insurance. And the reason I do this is I'm covered up to 6.5 million. The reason I do this is that oftentimes people would wonder why my fees are as they are and why other people can charge less. Oftentimes the reason they charge less is that they either have little or no insurance, they don't have very much experience, or they're using crappy quality pigments. My insurance covers me and you up to 6.5 million. That is to protect you, but it's also to protect me. And the premium is paid in February of every year. So we're paid up to February of next year. It is the most expensive part of my business expenses. And absolutely finally now, your consent form will be accompanying this. I want you to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. 3 of the things that we absolutely cannot have you come to our clinic is if you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, or if you're on blood thinners. Now, if you're on aspirin, you can certainly qualify. If you're on warfarin, you have to cancel your appointment. Anybody who's got an illness, please reach out to me specifically, because if you're diabetic or if you have cardiac conditions, yes, you can still come to me, but we need a doctor's cover note. So if you think that you are anyway doubtful about whether you are a suitable candidate or not, go through the consent form that I have sent you. And if there's anyone that you have circled and you're anyway nervous about whether you're a suitable candidate or not, save yourself a wasted journey by reaching out to me specifically, either by email, and we can schedule in a Zoom call and chat about how you can come to me and how we can make it work for you. I hope that helps. I'm really looking forward to seeing you and to creating beautiful new eyebrows and to make the transition of what you can expect from me as easy as is possible. Separate to this, you will get an email in relation to what is expected of you that is going to be COVID related, and it's going to be safe for you, what we will do for you, what we expect of you, and we make this transition just so seamless. Thanks a million for listening, and this is the consultation part of your step 1 process. I hope you enjoyed it. It's the best I can do considering that we're using an iPhone and props. But you know what? We did fine. I'm looking forward to welcoming you to Clonakilty, West Cork. We're on the main street. We're over here by Triana. We are in the we're in the town centre in Aston Square. So if you see Susu Boutique, if you're a girl, you'll know exactly where that is. If you love to have your hair done, it's over here by Triana. And if you need any further directions, just call us. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.